Following remarks are the sole opinion of one wrestling fan. It may not reflect the views and operations of WWE, AEW, or any other wrestling promotions.
Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Keep talking, won't keep talking.
What are you doing? You're supposed to meet me out front. It's
And I'm here at your doorstep with the World Heavyweight Championship.
Wow, that's strong, brother. He's got whole Canadian wristbands on.
Sign on the dotted line.
I will, brother.
And surrender the title to me.
Wow.
What?
Out of your mouth. We're gonna start out on the right foot. I got something that'll keep you going all day long, Daddy. Don't worry about a thing, brother. This is the eye of the Hulkster, man. You gotta get your head right.
Hulk, no.
This is the only way to go.
Webomaniacs World of Wrestling is brought to you by Anchor. Get it in the Google Play Store. Anchor for all your podcasting needs. Start making some money with ad sponsorships from Anchor. Get it in the Google Play Store. Hello, everyone. Glad you're all back. Also, a lot was caught this week in Webomaniacs World of Wrestling. First off, I just want to say, we here at Webomaniacs World of Wrestling want to say, if you like the program and would like to support us in our efforts to jumpstart this into more markets, become a sponsor by having me plug your business on air here. You can do this. Just drop an email to Webomaniac211. That's WEBOMANIAC 211 at gmail.com. You can also directly donate to my PayPal by going to paypal.me/magnetic smorgasbord. That's SHMORGASBORD. Now, I also like you to know that Webomaniacs World of Wrestling is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor provides you tools of the trade in podcasting. Get it in your Google Play Store. Welcome, everyone, to Webomaniacs World of Wrestling. I am the Webomaniac, and it's been a while. We're back. No surprise that a lot of this COVID stuff, whatever it is, whatever you believe it is, whatever is holding you back, if you believe it's political. We're not going to discuss really politics here on this program, but I do want to mention on this one topic here that we're going to get right into this, and we're going to talk about things like virtual fans virtually killing the business. WWE's Dark Order come to life. We're going to talk about the death of one of the legends in this business. He went by Joe Laurinaitis was his real name, and no surprise, people will remember the name Laurinaitis associated with people power. Yeah, okay. But there's so much more to get into
So let's just jump right into it. Virtual fans virtually killing the business. Okay. And what that means is this goes on the heels uh, of what the world is changing with this COVID stuff. It's opening doors for certain businesses, but it's also, in my opinion, killing the wrestling business. Virtual fans, what do we mean by that? We mean just that, a virtual experience, just as you're experiencing me tell you about the goings on in pro wrestling and everything right here on Webomaniacs World. Catch it every Thursday and Saturday. It's been a while. I guess I've got a little ring rust here. No surprise there either. But virtual fans killing the business. I think that with the need, as fans had expressed, when they weren't allowed to be in the arenas and be live and everything, it focused a lot more and gave the stars, the superstars in that squared circle to have no drive to do what they were doing. They may have as well thought they were actors, and they green screen in certain things. It's just sad while you're a fan trying to watch this at home and expect WrestleMania, of all things, Drew McIntyre gets his shot and, beats the Beast, Brock Lesnar, at what? A virtual WrestleMania. I won't kid you, folks. I actually watched a lot, if not all, of the events live as they happen on the WWE network, and we will also be plugging them too. Go to www.com/network, and you can get the details on joining and getting a subscription with them for $9.95 or $9.99. It's a great place to get video content. You can actually brush up on what you don't know, and then you can become an expert in this stuff as to what everything that I know about this business. But do you believe that the virtual fans of the Thunderdome, when WWE launched it, do you believe that fans are going to reboost the momentum that the WWE needs to survive? I'd like to hear from you. Just drop me an email at webomaniac211@gmail.com. Also, you can shoot me a message both on Instagram as well as Twitter. The handle is at Webomaniac211. That's at WEBOMANIAC211. Next up, we're going to be talking about WWE's Dark Order has come to life. And instead of going to a break right now, we're just going to cover this particular issue right now. WWE's Dark Order come to life. It It is a spin-off, if you will. Wrestling businesses, when they compete against each other, look at what works for one guy and actually says, I might try that, but in a different way in my company. AEW, when it debuted, and it's actually been around here for going on a year now, as is my podcast here, but I digress. I've only been away for several months here, trying to determine which direction I'm going to go in the same ways that other businesses are going. So I said, I'll just get right back on that horse and let's gallop off and see where we go. But this, what I call a Dark Order come to life, is the reveal of heels. Heels have to get introduced into the business, and the only way you do it is you have somebody do something bad to a good guy. That's the only way you're going to establish heels, and you only become a good heel when you have enough people wanting to hate your guts each and every time you step foot in that ring. Well, we know that AEW, they started this group of masked wrestlers, and they call themselves Dark Order. It's so that you get a feel when you have a masked person behind a mask there, when you have a person behind a mask, and we're not talking about these type masks, okay? We're not talking about the ones that they're making us wear during COVID, but what we are talking about is, just as it was born in Mexico, and it's a tradition for Mexican wrestlers to wear masks, these companies have decided the way they're going to introduce their heels is to actually put a mask on them, and this way you get a feel of what their capabilities actually are in that squared circle, and if you like them, when they get unmasked, that's usually the big reveal as to how well or how low their career will actually sink. So now Dark Order hasn't necessarily revealed actually who they are, but WWE's Retribution, which I've been watching these past months, and that's another reason I didn't necessarily come here each week to talk about the goings on in WWE, because for up to several months here, it's been really nothing but a buildup of this retribution of NXT superstars. Triple H is always wanting to say, we are NXT. Well, when it came out and someone said, we are Retribution, you couldn't help but just make the comparison therein of NXT is going to be under that mask. In the same way, when we had Nexus invade WWE and they just roughshod it, took everything over, Retribution's doing the same thing, but they're behind the safety of a mask. Well, when we come back, it gets a little bit sad here because we lost one of the legends, as the Legion of Doom, Animal, has now reunited with his brother in the ring. And oh, what a rush of sadness. Animal dies at the age of 60. And when we come back, we'll talk about that. AEW being on top. Stephanie McMahon sells 2 million in shares. Can wrestling kick out of this COVID pin? And so much more on the other side of this break.
Folks, if you haven't checked out Hogan's Beach Shop in Clearwater, Florida, and Orlando, Florida, you're in for a real treat. So go check out Hogan's Beach Shop at hogansbeachshop.com. You can see everything from the red and yellow of Hulkamania to the black and white of the NWO and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Everything from t-shirts, bandanas, cardio weight belts, replica belts, even already autographed belts. You need to go check out Hogan's Beach Shop. It's an awesome, amazing site. I've been there myself. And Ron out there, he's a great guy. I just wanted to give this plug in my broadcast as so go check out Hogan's Beach Shop, both in Orlando and Clearwater, Florida. hogansbeachshop.com.
And we're back. I like to thank my audience for just making my podcast, even in my absence, just continue rolling on. It's just like, I guess you would call it, like I said, this is Webomania. We know Hulkamania lives forever, as you could see back there. But getting back to the show here, a sad note, as Joe Laurinaitis, also known as Animal of Legion of Doom, has left us fans and the wrestling world, and his family. We offer the most deepest condolences here at Webomaniacs World of Wrestling. Joe died at the age of 60. No ongoing causes that would lead you to believe that anytime an athlete dies, the sports worlds, after they've offered their condolences, they tend to want to nitpick and find out, why did he die? In being human here, you just offer the best and try to move forward the best you can, because death is only the labor pains for eternal life. Now, whether you want to get into religious or not, that's all on you. But all I can say is this little doomer, oh, what a rush. And Hawk, you're up there as well. You're going to be greeting, I can see Mean Gene probably doing the announcing as from Chicago, the Legion of Doom, or the Road Warriors, as they were more aptly called. But that was a tough one. Social media lit up, as you might expect. A lot of people posting a lot of their old videos. And, of course, making light of what they looked like back then and everything. But we here are going to miss that doomsday device. And no matter who emulates it, nothing will compare to that of one Hawk coming off as Animal holds him, and he gets the doomsday device, a simple, hard clothesline. And if you ever felt that, mercy on your soul, because it always looked more painful than what it was worth. And whoever was doing the selling of the move or something, I don't think you were doing as much selling on that move. I think Hawk was out to hurt you, because Animal would be one to tell you he just liked to beat people up. And as we're going to continue beating people up, AEW is on top in this ratings war. They're not playing like WCW did and folding down to a one-on-one war with the WWE. WWE, however, has made itself known, and I've mentioned this several times in my podcasts before, of how WWE and Vince are running scared. Well, they've got reason to. The ratings are just skyrocketing, and they've actually broke the 1 million mark, which is what they want it to do. And Chris Jericho, is one for the books here, Le Champion. Kudos to you, Y2J, Ayatollah of rock and rolla. Did I leave anyone else out there? Well, in talking more about the McMahons, Stephanie McMahon has sold $2 million in shares of WWE stock. What can this mean for the company that's trying to win its war in ratings with AEW? Yet, as I just mentioned with the Dark Order segment, WWE is mimicking what's bringing AEW to the top. And once you're at the top, any champion will tell you it's a lot easier to keep it than it is to take it. But in ratings and trying to shoot to be the best that there is, AEW's got its work cut out for it. And Tony Khan, I salute you, because you're actually studying your books, and I'm glad to see that the failure of WCW does not in any way haunt one Tony Khan. But that was only because of merger of Time Warner and Turner, and they only got rid of WCW and wanted to sell it to Vince McMahon, who bought it at that time. All of that in place, Stephanie sells 2 million shares of her stock, and is the WWE princess ready to just sit in the kingdom and watch from afar? it's going to be interesting to see, is she just letting her husband handle the reins with his new promotion, as was once stated? And can wrestling kick out of this COVID pin that it seems to be in? Again, I made light of the fact of the mask. Here's my mask, and if you want, you can look it up. You can look at it. It says, "What you gonna do, COVID?" Had it specially designed and everything. But can wrestling kick out of this COVID pin? It seems to be. The answer seems to be yes, because wrestling has no off season, unlike football, baseball, and all these. And one thing I want to say outside of the wrestling world is those organizations, as they do come back, if you ever wanted to joke about wrestlers having what we call ring rust, these athletes are going to probably exhume just that after all this pause for the cause, as we would say. Well, coming up next, we're going to talk about a little bit more of the actual goings on with Keith Lee slamming a Viper and his friendship aside, all for gold. And we'll be back with more right after this.
Get caught up in the web every Thursday and Saturday here in Webomaniacs World of Wrestling. It's a fan's perspective. So wherever you get your podcasts, get caught up in the web.
Welcome back. And now, let's get into the ring. Keith Lee slams a Viper. And it's no secret who that is. One, Randall Keith Orton just got schooled that bigger will sometimes be better. Stronger will always put you down. And Keith Lee did just that as he made his Raw debut and has stirred waves here in World Wrestling Entertainment as he's put himself in hunt for his friend's championship belt. That, of course, one, Drew McIntyre. Drew and Randy have gone round and round here as to basically playing who can break my jaw the best or the worst. Well, first, Randy with his 3 kicks to Drew's skull, and of course ended up with a fractured jaw. However, champion being who he is, I don't understand how they bypass the doctors and everything if he's that severely injured. So we're just going to go along and say this is kayfabe for storyline purposes. And if you're not familiar with kayfabe, you're not a wrestling fan. So, or kayfabe, as they would say. I call it kayfabe. In other words, I make it more French-esque, if you will. But Keith Lee puts himself in a title picture up against his friend Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, because the Universal title is held by one Roman Reigns, who we'll get to talking more about him in just a minute. But Keith Lee, in all his strength and splendor, if you've ever seen this guy, you don't want to be in front of a donut line and have this guy saying, "I want your spot. Get out of his way." Well, Roman Reigns is the big dog, and if you can hear my big dog doing her barking, Roman Reigns has done a little bit of heel turn type barking of his own as he's giving the fans a turnaround in a reversal here of the role that he played as the guy. Well, the guy is a Paul Heyman guy, as Roman Reigns, again, spoiler, not prediction. And he's going to be facing his cousin, Jey Uso. And that's just going to be an explosion to wait to be seen. Well, coming up next, we're going to close the program as we talk about the role models of Sasha Banks and Bayley. And all of that's coming up right after this. Modern times have given us so much, and yet we try our best to say so little. We limit ourselves to the number of characters we can use in sending a text message with a cell phone. Even symbols like a smiley face have shortened up messages. But with the age of the internet, social media seems to give us the power to say what we feel and what we are about. We all have a status or something to share or feeling to let out. Some have even gone by way of certain famous quotes. That's what this book is going to be all about. It will capture the statuses of the social media world, and I will share to you what some have put as their status. Their names and identities will remain anonymous, and this is only to give an enlightenment on what we are all about. It furthermore offers us a chance to see what we do to inspire others with a simple thought or expression. Some out there are still human beings, but it is time to share to the world our internet being. And pick up your copy, Our Internet Being, on blurb.com/B/3792409-first book. And we're back. And I'd just like to close here by just touching on a lot of what's happening here in the women's division here in the WWE, and that's what I consider a role model's reversal of roles, as Bayley bashed the boss, her best friend Sasha Banks, for, I want to say, at least a year. Someone like Corey Graves, who you can check out his podcast, After the Bell, he has fixated on how untrustworthy Sasha Banks is and how she would one day turn on her partner, Bayley. Well, I'm here to tell you that Bayley wants to hold on to the one belt that she's got left as she continues her stride in seeming like she's going to break or tie won Nikki Bella's record. And where is Charlotte in all of this? She has been out of the spotlight. And will she indeed make any kind of a return? Will she stop Bailey in her quest after all is said and done? Or will Nikki Bella make a comeback? I'd like to get your thoughts on this. So drop me an email at webomaniac211@gmail.com. It's been great being back. And you never know what's going to get caught in Webomaniacs' world of wrestling. See you, folks. See you next time.